Hi, guys. Good morning out there. How's everybody doing today? It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Perfect. Perfect day here. Let's go take a look. There isn't anything going on here. There are a lot of school trips. You know, being the end of the school year, I guess they're. But other than that, let's see what this is over here. Charlotte, North Carolina. What in the world is this? Hi, how are you? Let's go over here and take a look. There was a flight that was supposed to have come back in here late last night. Looks like they're up there. We'll take a look. There's a bunch of people, but we'll go up here. I did not see anybody on 15th Street for tours. Let's see up here. So it looks like they're doing some stuff on the light. Working on the light. A few people standing up there, but like I said, I didn't see a line or Secret Service over there for tours. So it's super quiet around here. Let's go this way. Get all the people. You know, at this point in the game, we are not going to see much here. You know, and I come for two different reasons. I come because I want to keep an eye on the city. I like to keep an eye on, you know, what's going on here so I can notice any changes. I like to keep an eye on the flags. I like to keep an eye on the FAA. There's not much to keep an eye on here anymore. Oh, let me back up for a second. A flight supposedly came back in here last night, very late, like 11 something. So let's take a peek down here. There's nothing on the schedule. Where's my camera shaking? What does that mean? Yeah. And of course, we don't have a fine-looking young man at the door, which we very, very rarely see anymore. You know, and a Marine is supposed to be at that door, you know, when the president is in his office, and, you know, we very rarely see one at that door. Very rarely anymore. So back to what I was saying, like, you know, I come for a couple of different reasons. I want to come keep an eye on the city. I want to see what's going on here. If there are any changes, I like to see if there's any fencing going up anywhere. I like to see what's going on at the Capitol. We've seen crazy things go on there. And I know also that it keeps people calm, okay? Especially, and for the people that have been following me for a long time, you know what we've seen here. I mean, and if you're just following me, if you're waiting for the military to come into DC, that's already happened. That happened a long time ago, and they cleaned this place out. We've watched things happen at many, many buildings in this city. And as I was coming in today, I was kind of thinking of that, because I'm like mentally tired, I'm just like, oh gosh, you know what I mean? But I was thinking about it on the way in here today of how many of the government buildings that we've watched things happen. We've seen it happen at these buildings. And that's why we're getting the disclosure that we're getting. That's why we're getting it. We've seen it at the Department of Justice. We've seen it here. We've seen it at the Eisenhower Building, the Organization of American States Building. I've seen it happen at the Smithsonian. I've seen things, obviously, the Capitol and the Supreme Court. The Capitol for the first, I don't know how long, was just a crazed place. Just a crazed place. Fences up, fences down, fences up, fences down. I mean, we've seen it at the Department of Labor. We've seen it at the Department of Justice. We've seen it at, many of the buildings here, Department of Protective Services and everything. The mayor's office, but the first, more than better half of 2021, we watched the military occupy buildings all on Capitol Hill. And not just the Capitol, but all of the buildings, even the Herbert Hoover building down, at the bottom of the hill. They were guarding that. I remember one night, I didn't know the city very well, and I was terrified of how many military were guarding that building at night. But that was way back in the beginning. And, here we are, years later. So, we're not going to see anything here. We've seen massive stuff happen over at the hotels, massive stuff happen at the hotels. So at this point, we're not going to see any action. I'm coming. I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to, keep an eye on things. And that's all we're going to see pretty much. Maybe a little bit at the Capitol. But we're going to keep an eye on things. That's all we can do. And wait, we've got to be close. I mean, they're saying, we're going to default on our debt, June 1st? I mean, that could kick off a lot of things. So let's see what happens with that. That's only, a week and a half away. But the state flags are still not at the museum. Now, for everybody saying, oh, ask, I did. Okay, you have to understand that these employees in these buildings, they don't know anything. They're being paid, $14 an hour to show up at work. They don't know anything. They really don't know anything. And we're not going to get any answers. I did ask. And the lady was like, she's like, oh, there's flags out there. So I've learned along the way asking, you have to ask the right people, and that has to be military. I mean, I've gotten a little bit out of my Secret Service guys and girls, but, they're hush-mouthed. So I don't know what that's about, but it's been weeks now that those flags are not there. And with it being, maritime law here, the flags have a lot to do with things. So, it might even be a hard topic to research. I thought that coming up here was like, if you don't see any flags today, let's see if we can dig into finding out, the flag's meanings, the state flag's meanings and stuff like that here, and just see what we can come up with. And, I encourage you to do the same thing. What else? I think that's pretty much it. They're setting up over in the monument. They're setting up flooring today. It's covered for an event, I'm assuming for a Memorial weekend. And they are setting up a huge thing on the west side of the Capitol that they do every year for a Memorial Day concert there. There's not a whole lot going on. over at the Capitol, but we can go take a look. But other than that, it's just a quiet city with a bunch of kids and tourists right now. So just just know nothing. You come in and like you don't see the police, and that's why I come in at this time of day, like midday, because at this point you're going to see something. If there's going to be something, you're pretty much going to see something. You can look at the different buildings and see that there aren't any police parked around them. That's what I look at when I come here. I look at all of the buildings. I go through the entire city before I even come on here, 99.9% of the time. But I look at all the buildings. I see if there's any police. I see if there's any Secret Service, any Department of Protective Services. I look at all that, and that'll pretty much determine what's going to happen for the day. And over at the Capitol, so when I see there's nothing, it's like, so anyhow, okay. Yeah, I think that's about it. Sweet baby up there working. Yep, that's about it, guys. So we'll just keep an eye on things. I will head over. We can take a look at the Capitol. Not a whole lot to look at, but we can take a look at it. So I love you guys. I'll see you later.